Honored parents, I am now on an expedition to the westward with Captain Lewis and Captain Clark, who are appointed by the President of the United States to go through the interior parts of North America, to ascend the Missouri River with a boat, and then to go to the Western Ocean. If we live to return, and if we make great discoveries as we expect, the United States has promised to make us great rewards.
In this enterprise, with its dangers and honors, there is no man on earth with whom I should feel equal pleasure in sharing them as yourself.
Clark answered Lewis's letter.
My friend, I'd join you with hand and heart.
Many feared they would never return. But if they made it, they would forever change the course of history.
The Lewis and Clark expedition started in 1804, lasting longer than 2 years, stretching from British Columbia to New Orleans, from the Ohio River to eastern border of New Spain. The Louisiana Territory was a valuable possession to President Thomas Jefferson, which was purchased from Napoleon under French control on May 2, 1803. The Louisiana Purchase, one of Jefferson's greatest achievements, was an important territory in North America. The Louisiana Purchase included rich mineral resources, arable land, forests, and wildlife resources of great value. Its boundaries include Arkansas, Missouri, Iowa, Louisiana, Nebraska, South Dakota, North Dakota, and Oklahoma. The purchase alone avoided war with France and provided justification for westward expansion. Realizing Native Americans still inhabited most of the territory, Jefferson chose Meriwether Lewis and William Clark to co-lead the expedition in order to enhance their knowledge of the Louisiana Territory further geographically and to pave the way for the extension of the American fur trade to the tribes within the area and peacefully move on. By treating the Native Americans with respect and gratitude, the party created a steady basis for trade, assistance, and safety throughout the trip.
A party of Otoe and Missouri Nation came to camp. Captain Lewis and myself sent them some roasted meat. In return, they sent us watermelons.
Spring 1804, with requests granted, the Lewis and Clark expedition was in full effect. When they first began their journey, Lewis and Clark traveled up the Missouri River, which led them to the Great Plains, first reaching the Mandan and Minnetree Indians near the Knife River. The team spent the long and cold winter huddled together in Fort Mandan. From the Minnetrees, they were able to get information on the course that ran through the Missouri River, reassuming their journey in April 1805. Charbonneau, an interpreter, and Sacagawea, a young Shoshone squaw, accompanied the team on their journey, reaching navigable limits of the Missouri River. By the time the explorers found the Columbia River, they were suffering from starvation. Thankfully, they encountered the Nez Perce tribe, who provided them with food and shelter to refuel before they set back off on their journey to the Pacific Ocean. Unfortunately, not all of the encounters with the Native Americans were pleasant. When Lewis and Clark decided to part ways, in order to cover more ground, Lewis's team encountered a small dispute between the Blackfoot tribe, which resulted in several Native American deaths. Clark's group also encountered a scuffle with the Crow tribe when a few of their tribe members had stolen horses. Luckily, there were no casualties as a result from this robbery. Meeting back up, Lewis and Clark recollected their thoughts and resources, bought more horses from nearby Native Americans, and continued their trip to the Rocky Mountains with the help from Sacagawea once again. After crossing, they sloped the Clearwater, Snake, and Columbia rivers to the Pacific, where they reached their desired destination mid-November. Splitting and reuniting again below the Yellowstone River, they hurried down the Missouri River and arrived in St. Louis on September 23, 1806. The encounter with the Native Americans was important for the advancement of the Native American lifestyle and the expedition, leading Lewis and Clark to their destination. Lewis and Clark, the first white men to infiltrate the interior and therefore open up the West for fur trade on their expedition to change America. They hoped to find an easy, mostly water route to the Pacific Ocean. They wanted to take much of the lucrative fur trade from the British of Canada and the Pacific Northwest. Furs of all kinds, especially beaver, were valued because it was used for basically everything: blankets, hats, clothing. Aboriginal peoples quickly craved more of the labor and time-saving goods. In a short amount of time, Indians, who had lived for centuries on their own inventions, became dependent on manufactured goods, originally introduced by traders. The dependence on manufactured goods made the fur trade easier and more profitable. Throughout the trip, Lewis and Clark kept journals, maps, and notes of their observations. They recorded their observations of the climate, vegetation, people, plant, and animal life in their diaries. Once Lewis felt that he had obtained an acceptable amount of information on different artifacts and a variety of small species, he sent 12 men from his crew down a river that led to St. Louis in order for them to successfully transport the shipment to Washington. The Lewis and Clark expedition, lasting 28 months, 8,000 miles, was a major success, further advancing their knowledge geographically of the Louisiana Territory. It was the concluding act in the long search for a water route through the continent, a northwest passage, and it set the stage for westward expansion. Since the Louisiana Territory belonged to the French, America would not have expanded that immensely if the territory was not purchased by Jefferson. The result of the expedition led to the Industrial Revolution, which economically advanced the country as well. Without economic stability, America would not have been able to flourish with new cities and increase in population. Passing through all Indian Territory with only one violent encounter was a giant step in opening the Trans-Mississippi West. The men successfully led the first official U.S. exploration across North America to the Pacific Ocean and the land past the Mississippi River for commerce. It was a success because Jefferson was able to advance his knowledge geographically, take part in the American fur trade, exchange with the Native Americans, and bring attention to the wildlife, the potential profits, and the hazards of the area. Without the success of this important expedition, America would be a divided nation, missing the Louisiana Territory. Thanks to Lewis and Clark, America is the vast, stable, and strong country that we live in today.